Hey everyone, welcome. It is Sensei Chat. I think this is the fourth one this year so far, or the fifth one. We've done a lot of chats. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, January 13th. Today we got a lot of stuff to go over. We're going to first turn it over to the DEX team. They're going to tell you about the updates and upgrades they've made to their project. It's actually pretty incredible what these guys have done. Also, we're going to get into, after that, we're going to get into THETA. After THETA, we're going to get into just a ton of crypto news. I have so much to go over. So without further ado, let me turn it over to the DEX team so they can tell you what they've built in the last couple months. They've kept their heads down and they've been building strong. Without further ado, who wants to speak first? Is it Jaded Emperor or is it who's going to be the DEX CEO?
I can pop in here. Jake here, DEX CEO. Appreciate you having us on here.
Of course.
Always a warm welcome from you guys. We did actually notice a lot of people coming in after our last chat, so I just wanted to keep you guys posted on all the new developments. We same protocol still, but we built a ton of stuff on top of it that you guys might be really interested in. The newest product we have out now is called the DEX Vaults. Essentially, this is like a Yelp for yield farming. Basically, we have hundreds of farms on BSC, and it works almost like a balancer vault. So you can have like up to three vaults, up to three farms within the same vault. And there's automated profit taking in our proprietary DEX ETF tokens, which are like a basket of actual blue chip tokens that hang out, which also have their own balancing formulas. And even the vaults themselves have, like I said, have this balancing. You could have, of course, we have a lot of our stuff on there, but a lot of other projects in the DeFi space we have listed as well. We can also add farms within minutes. If you stop on by and check out the vaults or try to create a vault and you don't see anything you specifically are into, just feel free to drop us a line. We can plug that in there. And basically, once you have your vaults with their different allocations, the balancing formula always tries to keep the allocations to the same level. Let's say you have an ETH BTC pair and some other more high yielding degen pair together. Basically, as you're getting the rewards in, their yields in, it's going to take those rewards and balance them out between the two farms. Always keeping essentially you're selling the highs always and buying the dips on all the farms within.
Beautiful.
Can I share a screen?
Please share your screen. Show us what you got. And I'm trying to share some links to your guys' stuff. Can you guys post like the Discord link? I got the Twitter link here. I'll post the website link too. Oh, here I can do Discord. Here, Discord's here. That should work.
You guys see me here?
1 second. I think so. Let me go back to it. I'm trying to do different things. Yep, we got you. Go for it.
Cool. So let me show you how easy this is, guys. So you get to the main page here. Also, let me give a little highlight to our Surtech audit that just got back. 189 contracts within this audit. We're doing some pretty wild stuff here. But on the front end, it's like super easy to use, right? We have some of these promoted blue chip vaults, right? All the promoted vaults are compounded free of charge. So here's one you can get into. The on here is just blue chip farms, right? We have Matic BNB at 40%, Phantom BNB 30%, AVAX BNB at 30%. So basically, if you put $100 in here, $40 is going to Matic farm, 30 is going to the Phantom farm, and 30 is going to the AVAX farm. Now within the vault, some of this looks maybe like a similar auto compounder, right? You have your farms here and your rewards here, but you'll notice how there's different rewards because, so for example, this farm is coming from Baby Swap, this one's coming from Buy Swap, and I think another Buy Swap one here, right? So really advanced performance metrics. You can see how the vault's doing in total, right? So this is the entire vault. This is just my personal position in the vault. Here would be a total of everyone in the vault. And then you can come here and like your profit tab. You can see when it harvests depending on how much TVL is in the vault. Some of our vaults are harvesting every hour, which is wild. And then the nice part here is when you create a vault, you get to set a take profit percentage right here. So this vault has a 40% profit. So basically every time that this compounds, right? So let me go back here. So in 5 hours, when this compounds, the rewards here are going to be split. 60% is going to be compounded back in, and then 40% is going to be broken off into your profit. This vault has a profit in our L1 ETF. I can quickly show you some of those too. We have a variety of different ETFs, right? And again, each ETF represents its own basket of tokens. This one would have Link, Mask, USDEX, Litecoin, and Filecoin in it, right? And then you can mint and burn, but a lot of people just use them for the profits because, like I said, they are also auto balancing, great store of value long term. Also, just quickly, there's some migration tabs, right? So migration, like if you're in one vault, you want to move part of your vault to another vault. You can also share it and whatnot. Basically, you can go here and just on the homepage, you can go find a number of vaults. We have over 100 vaults right now. We launched 3 days ago, over 7 million TVL, or about 7 million in TVL here in the first 3 days. But this is the really cool part I want to show you guys. Again, like I said, if we don't have your farm in there, just let us know. We can add it. But essentially, just go here and select a farm, your first farm, right? So let's just say we want to do an ETH farm. You can see all the ETH pairs on BSC, right? Let's say we like ETH sushi here on Buy Swap. Sure, let's take that one. And then this one here, maybe we don't really care, but we want to go with just a higher APR one, right? Something like Magpie here is a decent one, paying 100%. And maybe our third one, let's say we do something a little more stable, but let's say we like BTC, right? But let's say we want it on something like K-Swap, which is a newer exchange, but they're going to have higher APRs, right? Obviously, liquidity is not very great on that one, but for argument's sake, let's throw it in there. You're going to go ahead and you're going to see that here's your estimated daily APR and APY. You can also even go here and select out of all of the ETFs, which ETF you'd like to take, right? So you like blue chips, you like Bitcoin. Our gray swan is mainly stable coins, right? Let's just say we want to go with a blue chip, right? And lastly, we just go set our profit to say 35% and click create here. Basically what this is doing is our strategy factory is now building your own vault contract. So you own this now. As soon as you click create, you own that vault. It's yours to do whatever you want with. You can keep it private for yourself, or you can actually go to your vaults now and you'll see your new vault here. There we go. So here's your new vault, right? So right now this is a private vault, right? Only you can see this vault. But if I wanted to now, you can go here and publish it, right? So all you do is give it a name, a publisher, a strategy name, right? So that's this up here. You give it a name of the vault. You give it a publisher name, a little description about it, right? And then when you do that, it becomes available it becomes public, right? So everyone can see it, right? But the bonus here is by creating it, you now get to take 1% of all the profit coming out, right? So there's some advantages to publishing your own vaults and creating these interesting combinations, and people can kind of shadow trade you and jump in on your vault. So we are, like I said, we just launched a few days ago. Like I said, we just want to show this a really cool and innovative piece of tech we put together, and we'd love to have you guys give it a test drive.
What do you think is the best strategy for somebody new coming in, maybe has about $500 to play around with and wants to get into a vault and test the waters? What do you think is a good starting opportunity for somebody like that?
Sure, I would start right at the top. Right when you come to the page, all vaults, and it's already defaulted at TVL, right? Because the higher the TVL in the vaults means basically you're going to be splitting each compound with everyone in the vault, right? If you go ahead and create your own vault with $500, it's probably only going to, depending on what you have in there, it's probably only going to compound maybe once a week, and you're going to be eating all those costs yourself. But $500 is plenty to throw in here with a vault that has 1 million TVL in it. Especially, of course, a lot of these are ours because we just launched and migrated everyone over. But like I said, even blue chips, honestly, this one's a great one. This has a little bit of US DEX, USDC, which is one of our pairings with some in Bitcoin. Like I said, by next week, we're actually going to be announcing 2 or 3 of our new partnerships. So really, the farms are just starting to pour in. And like I said, if you guys have any interest, feel free to drop us a line. We'd love to get your farms on there.
Jake, I got a question from LAX, good friend LAX. He says, Why should you use an existing vault and not just create the same private vault so you're not missing out on the 1%?
Again, it's personal preference. If you have a couple $1,000 you want to do that, you can for sure. In the search result here, though, most people are going to start with the higher TVLs, right? So if you're trying to create the exact same vault as something that's already out there, right? It's going to be hard to convince people to join your vault with these allocations exactly the same, right? Because with higher TVL, right, they're actually compounding. This one's compounding every 12 hours, right? Even with a fairly low 0.05 daily APR. But that being said, if you're in your trading groups and you guys all want to get together and build your own, by all means, that would definitely be the way to do it. Start one up, tell your friends about it, and everyone can join in.
Beautiful, man. Guys, is there any other questions for the team, for the DEX team, before we move on here? Any other people have any other questions about how to do any of this, or any other questions revolving around what we just talked about? I don't see anybody typing. All right, beautiful. Cool, man. I'll get everybody over. Can you share in the chat just a website link? And that way, I already shared the Twitter, but let's share the website link, making people a little bit easier for people to get over there. And thank you so much for coming and sharing the updates. And no, this is fantastic, man. You guys obviously put a lot of hard work into it. What are those partnerships that you're going to announce next week? You mind sharing a little bit of alpha?
I can't really drop the exact names, but they would be considered the top 2 projects on BSC right now. Let's say.
Beautiful. Hey, that's my job to ask questions and try to get that alpha out of you. So thank you, my friend.
Discord. We'll be announcing Monday some partnerships and doing some AMAs with them as well.
Beautiful.
Want to get a deeper dive, feel free to swing by.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you, and congratulations on what you built. And I hope to see it rocking and rolling over the next several months. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Bless you. All right. Great, guys. That was a great update. Some good DeFi information. Let's go ahead and get into the chat. All right. Let me just get situated here. So here is the chat that we're going to go through today. As you can see, there's a ton of information up here. But we're going to talk about THETA because one of our beautiful members asked about information on THETA. So let's go ahead and talk about THETA, and then we'll get into the rest of the chat. If I can find it down here. That's not it. See, I have too many windows open. See what happens to me, guys, when I get busy like this? Yeah, here, look at this. This is temporary limited on your account features. I can't use my Twitter. Fuck. All right, sorry. I went after Jim Cramer, and I guess he didn't like what I said to him, and he reported me. If you need me, guys, on Twitter, just DM Cryptnares. Okay, we're at THETA. All right, let's get into this. All right, so THETA network. THETA's been around for some time. Let's take a look at the chart here. I was buying THETA when it was like $3 or $4 way back when. High of about $13 here back in early 2021. Let's take a look at what THETA actually is, guys. Web3 blockchain infrastructure for video, media, and entertainment. And they actually just launched this in December. Mainnet 4.0 launched, and they have a lot of great information. You can actually take a look at the THETA mainnet white paper here. Obviously, you can see it's a pretty long one here. There's 26 pages of information. I am not going to put you to sleep with that information. Let's go ahead and keep taking a look at what they've built here. So THETA video infrastructure. So you have Web3 video API, lower the cost, encode, store, and deliver video, global edge network, share bandwidth, storage, and computing power to earn rewards, metachain, customize highly scalable blockchain for your Web3 business, enterprise validators, join the global leaders in enterprise validators. So actually enterprise validators, you actually need 1 million THETA. So that's going to be out of the reach for a lot of us. That's probably going to cost you about $890,000 at today's price. You can actually run just a Guardian node for THETA for 1,000 THETA, which would cost you about $888 at this time. I believe those Guardian nodes, they receive T-Fuel, and I have one that I launched a long time ago that I completely forgot about. I've been checking up on it. Rewards are pretty slow, guys. I wouldn't recommend jumping into this right now, but it's always a good idea if you like THETA or you've had some previous experience with THETA. It does look like they've been expanding the ecosystem quite well. Let's get into some more information here about what else is going on. We're impressed by THETA's achievements, right? This is Google saying this, and THETA's achievements in blockchain, video, and data delivery. We look forward to participating as enterprise validator and providing Google Cloud infrastructure in the support of THETA's long-term mission and growth, right? There's a good video I found here, guys. I'm just going to play a couple minutes here. This really gets into the basics of THETA. I've watched 3 or 4 of these. Instead of me just talking and reading a bunch of stuff from the white paper, I'm just going to play this quick video. It's going to save me time. I had a rough week with my account being blocked. So let's just get into
THETA is a native blockchain with an open source protocol, meaning that it allows developers and partners to build decentralized applications on the network, as Ethereum does. It is a decentralized, peer-to-peer video delivery network powered by blockchain technology that enables free, high-bandwidth content delivery. As users watch videos, part of their computing power is harnessed to relay those videos to other users, with the primary users earning tokens as a reward. The THETA network aims to become the next generation of entertainment technology by providing decentralized video streaming infrastructure that is cheaper than competing centralized platforms such as Twitch. The peer-to-peer video delivery platform is powered by its users and offers multiple content types, including esports, movies, TV series, and music. THETA was founded in 2017 by Mitch Liu, a serial entrepreneur who previously co-founded mobile gaming and online advertising startups, and G.A. Long, an expert on the technologies for virtual reality live streaming. In 2017, the team behind THETA hosted a private token sale, selling 30% of the capped 1 billion unit supply of THETA to raise the equivalent of 20 million to kickstart their project. THETA Labs, the company behind the THETA network, also has its own streaming site, theta.tv. The site pays viewers in T-Fuel to watch video content, which as they watch it is forwarded to other viewers using some of the primary users' processing capacity. The THETA Network's advisory board includes Twitch co-founder Justin Khanna, YouTube co-founder Steve Chen, and a number of Verizon senior executives. THETA's blockchain network is based on a peer-to-peer protocol that enables participants to be rewarded with real-time payments for content distribution. The network also allows developers to build dApps on its open-source blockchain protocol. THETA utilizes a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism similar to Tendermint's blockchain protocol, which is based on staking. That means participants lock in large amounts of THETA tokens to gain the right to process transaction blocks. THETA's blockchain network is powered by 3 categories of participants. 1. Enterprise validator nodes. These are companies that stake THETA tokens to process transactions on the network. Some of the network's best-known validator nodes include Sony, Talent Shop, Creative Artists Agency, Google, and Samsung. Validator nodes are the network's first line of defense and require participants to stake 1 million THETA coins. 2. Guardian nodes. Guardian nodes are community nodes in charge of maintaining consensus by securing validation at predefined points. They are users that ensure the transaction blocks created by enterprise validator nodes perform accurately. adding a second layer of security to the protocol. If a malicious block slips through a validator node, a Guardian node will stop it. Guardian nodes only need to stake 1,000 Theta coins. 3. Edge nodes. Edge nodes allow users to relay video streams and share their bandwidth for streams on THETA.tv. They are rewarded with T-Fuel for supporting the network. The THETA network allows users to stream peer-to-peer without the need for a centralized content delivery network. One of the features that make THETA stand out is that it has 2 native tokens, T-Fuel and THETA. THETA network participants who help share video content as edge nodes are rewarded for the data that they stream with T-Fuel. The platform itself pays for the content distribution, meaning that the service is free for end users. Edge nodes don't usually stream full videos, but rather small increments of them, so end users actually watch content streamed from multiple community nodes. Much like BitTorrent, if torrent users were paid for seeding content and contributing to other parties' download speeds. THETA Network's second native cryptocurrency, THETA, is a governance token designed to help manage the blockchain and its future development. THETA has a fixed supply of 1 billion coins, avoiding the risk of inflation. THETA coins can be staked to receive T-Fuel as a reward, but a user needs at least 1,000 tokens to become an eligible Guardian node, and 1 million tokens to become an enterprise-level validator. THETA seeks to change the future of video delivery platforms with the help of blockchain technology and its network of validators. The software is built to encourage its global network of users to create and support a fully decentralized video streaming platform.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this video if you want to watch the rest of it, but you understand the gist of what THETA is offering here. So if someone asks me, hey, should I buy THETA or should I buy something else? That's a tough question, right? When you look at THETA's price, right, I look at other things that are around the same price as THETA is, right? And so THETA is about 88 cents. I look at it like, see, my hard time is this, right? Do I buy THETA or do I buy AlphaZero? Zero is a much smaller market cap compared to THETA, right? THETA is 887 million. This is 181 million. So it's really difficult for me to go, what if I had 25 grand right now, would I put it into THETA or would I put it into AlphaZero? I'd probably put it into AlphaZero just to be 100% forward and honest with you about what I think would be a better purchase for my money. But as you can see, they have video technology partners. 100K leverage the power of fully decentralized encoding storage and peer-to-peer delivery and powered 100,000 global edge nodes. So THETA's got the ecosystem built out. Now they just need the customers, right? You can see they launched here on December 1st. Here's the gentleman, the co-founder here, the founder of THETA, co-founder, CEO of THETA Labs. I always like to see what they did beforehand. So he was a co-founder, CEO of Silver VR Technologies for 7 years, co-founder and president of Midverse Studios. So he's been in video and gaming for quite some time. He's got a really good reputation. And then here's THETA.tv. This is where you can look at different streamers and you can earn T-Fuel by just watching videos and then sharing and stuff like that. They've done a lot of good advertising, right? You can see like THETA's here on the big screen in Vegas in this new hotel. They're advertising on the screen here. So THETA's a solid project. It just needs customers. It needs people to get in there and start empowering it. I do think THETA is going to have a really good next couple of years since everything's built out, the technology's done. They just need to bring people onto the ecosystem. Okay, if you're not followed my YouTube, please go ahead and drop me some love on YouTube. I would appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the chat though. We'll talk about Audios on Tuesday. I just didn't have time to do 2 deep dives and the rest of this chat. I had to rebuild all of this chat yesterday, which took me quite some time. Give me 1 second, guys. I just gotta find it. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay, let's get into this. All right, so first we're going to start with IMF. IMF news. For Asia, where the outlook has dimmed amid slowing global growth, promoting technology adoption and closing digital divides can help boost productivity, economic output. So this is robot revolution. Asia has led an installation of industrial robots. You can see here's Europe, here's America, and here's Asia with using robots for industrial work. I just thought that was a really interesting picture there. And this is more of the same. They're just talking about in 2 different tweets. All right, so this is better than cash alliance. Digital currencies like the e-Naira could improve the efficiency of commerce and cross-border payments. It also represents an opportunity to bridge the gap in national and subnational finance inclusion, according to the OMFIF. And remember, guys, all these CBDCs need to run on some type of DLT solution. Let's take a look at this a little bit, and we'll talk about this. This talks about central bank digital currencies. Central bank digital currencies are one of the innovative ways central banks are diversifying, a key consideration for decision makers and how such digital currencies could improve the efficiency and commerce of cross-border payments. CBDCs have launched in 11 countries, while 15 more are testing and 26 more are developing one. Nigeria is a leader in this area right now with its already launched e-Naira. So let's talk about who's using it. During 2022 e-Naira hackathon, Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emile pointed to the encouraging growth of the e-Naira adoption. I cannot say his last name, I'm sorry. Since the launch of the Great initiative, the eNaira has reached over 840,000 downloads with 270,000 active wallets comprising over 250. So they got 250,000 people using this right now, guys. And wallets and 17,000 merchant wallets. In addition, the value of transaction on the platform have been remarkable, reaching above 200,000 and NB and for 9 million respectively. So you can see that this is being adopted in Africa. Africa is definitely one of the leaders in the digitized race. They are not playing around. They really want to get everything on this new system. The reason being, guys, is when you're sending money into places like Africa and Nigeria, it's so expensive, right? I've seen quotes on remittances up to 25, 26%. And if you're sending just $100, to lose a quarter of that money just because their fees is not a working system for the current climate. Okay, so this is more from Better Clash Alliance, inviting applications for qualified technical partners, including research consulting firms, conduct action research on responsible digital payments for women merchants in Bangladesh. I just thought this was interesting, right? You can see all over the world, this is different places in the world, they're all talking about digital payments, and that's the reason I highlighted that. The Philippines is making leaps towards digitization at the pace is remarkable. We are delighted to work with Banco Central in ensuring the country's digital payments journey and responsible and data-driven responsible payments. Let's take a look at this, guys. Or we'll not have it load. Sick. All right, I'm just going to move on. Once that loads, I'll come back to it. Telecom payments are particularly valuable for unbanked and underbanked households. According to the industry-leading body GSMA, 1.35 billion registered mobile money accounts are processing 1 trillion in transactions annually and 2 million every minute, guys, right? So digital payments are exploding all over the world right now. All right, so this is a clip. This is Africa Nenda. Moving to and using technology is fundamental to driving a more robust digital ID, especially for the continent of Africa. Dr. Robert Okola on how to move towards borderless payments. So let's just listen to this quick clip of 38 seconds and we'll move on.
There's ways of doing it. Governance model is important. Designing of systems is important. Ensuring an open platform where you create competition. These are important, but also at some point you can't get away from regulation. You almost need to have the regulator say, let's move in this direction because we want to drive inclusivity, we want to drive low cost. And then once they send the signal, you'll find that the technology exists, you'll find that players will find new of driving other revenue streams.
All right, let's see if this loaded. Oh, bad gateway. Okay, I guess we're not pulling that up. It's okay. Let's keep moving on. That was that. We just listened to that. All right, so in the Philippines, 2 channels enable fast, transparent, and affordable digital payments. InstaPay facilitates small value payments and is useful for purchasing retail goods, paying toll fees and tickets, and e-commerce. And PesoNet, a method for bulk distributions of payments. So you can see, like, we're talking about Africa, we're talking about the Philippines, we're talking about Asia, we're talking about everywhere. Here you go in Colombia, right? Representatives from Banco Republica, Colombia Central Bank, met with officials of the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems in November of 2022. This was part of a series of peer-to-peer exchanges facilitated by the alliance to enhance the knowledge and skills of members. So now you have countries helping out other countries to try to get this done. Colombia's first blockchain land registry launched on the XRP ledger. This is from July of last year. I just thought this was interesting because anytime I see a country is working on a CBDC, I'm always trying to figure out, like, hey, is there any information on who's launching the CBDC? Was it Stellar? Is it Ripple? Is it somebody else? And so I just looked up Colombia and I saw that Colombia's actually first blockchain land registry launched on the XRPL. So I'm wondering if Colombia's central bank is working with Ripple in itself. So this is a Barcelona-based company specializing in building blockchain solutions for governments and enterprises has launched Colombia's first national blockchain land registry on the XRPL. The XRPL is a decentralized, we already know what that is, right? Persist reported that the pilot project will allow Agencia Nacional de Tierras on the National Land Registry of Colombia to register property transactions on the XRP ledger. The title of ownership can then be verified simply by scanning a QR code, right? You can tell, guys, right? They're always going to come up in different countries, smaller countries, Africa, Colombia. I don't want to say third world countries, but you're going to adopt this technology faster because these countries need this type of stuff more quickly, right? This is going to save time. This is going to save money. and the country of Colombia understands that. All right, so let's keep moving on since we have way more to go over. This is talking about Ghana and digital payments. I don't need to read through that. Ghana was working with Ripple Labs, and then this Better Cash Alliance, all the stuff that I've been talking to. You can see Ripple Labs has been a partner there. I just like to show you that. And then this is from FinTech Singapore. Here's how FinTech is modernizing digital payments in the Philippines. Right, everything you're seeing right now is everyone's modernizing digital payments. Right, we talked a lot about it in 2022, but you can see everything has picked up speed in 2023, guys. It's crazy. Let's just read a little bit out of this, right? Let's just read this. The digital payments landscape in the Philippines has undergone significant growth and evolution in recent years. In 2015, the Banco Central NG the country's central bank introduced a national retail payment system, NRPS, to promote the development and use of electronic payments across the, I can't say it, Archipelago Islands? Sorry. This system has helped to increase the availability and accessibility of digital payments with varied options in the Philippines. This growth would have been surprising in the country that has traditionally been slow to embrace modernization and tried and tested mainstream systems such as cash. It had been a cash fizz society for the longest time, with even other common payment modes such as credit cards used by only 2% of Philippines, they say. Just more adoption happening here in the Philippines, and a lot of it's happening in China too, guys. And then here, Ripple and PayPal, it's not PayPal, it's PayPal, team up and offer low-cost border payments to the Philippines. Ripple's down there already. This is more about Bangladesh doing digital payments, right? So you can really see this whole thing about digital payments is happening. Better Than Cash Alliance is also saying Mexico's lower house published a new report. It analyzes the state of the financial inclusion in the country, explores good practices for digital finance services worldwide, suggests new policies to increase the GDP up 14%, right? This is why you're getting such a rush push on mass adoption for digital payments, because it's going to save billions, if not trillions of dollars globally yearly. Here you go. The House of Lords members call for crypto regulation beyond upcoming financial bill, right? So you can see the UK is really leading the charge here. Let's see what this says. The Financial Services Markets Bill, which sweeps part of crypto into financial regulation, came under scrutiny in the UK Parliament, where members of the House of Lords called for greater regulation for crypto assets after the turbulent year in the sector. We all know about the recent collapse of FTX. This is what it's talking about. The FSMB gives more power to UK regulators like the Financial Conduct Authority to supervise crypto assets. The bill also regulates stablecoins used for payments, right? We all know they need to have stablecoin law before they can adopt this technology into payment systems. Countries have to change their laws to adapt to the new payments. Some members noted that crypto will need a whole new regulatory approach. The constant evolution of digital payments represents not just a financial revolution, but also a technical and conceptual revolution that will not fit simply into existing regulatory categories and approaches, said Jonathan Hill, a member of the chamber. It's coming faster and faster, right? Coinbase suspend 150 million on recent cuts, right? So Coinbase is, I think it's 2,000 people are letting go in Coinbase. Let's keep going. Crypto.com delists Tether's UST stablecoin for Canadian users. Crypto.com is one of the world's top exchanges by volume. Will delist Tether's dollar-linked stablecoin USD from its trading platform for users in Canada, according to an email sent to customers. The company made a decision in accordance with instructions from the Ontario Securities Commission. I don't know what's going on with USDT, guys, but I warned you for a long time. Don't keep stables in USDT. Find something that's actually backed where you don't have a lot of things like this happening, right? Just try to protect yourself. It's always about protecting yourself. DeFi protocol Ondo Finance sets up tokenized corporate bonds with 8% yields on stablecoins. Let's take a look at what this says. Decentralized finance platform Ondo Finance has launched 3 products designed to allow stablecoin holders globally to invest directly into bonds and U.S. treasuries. Sexy. Ondo estimated regulatory products could attract more than 100 billion in stablecoins that currently may not be earning yields from their holders. On Ondo's site, the OUSG fund invests a short-term government treasuries earning 4.2 per annum, and the OSTB invests in short-term bonds earning 5.45% annual. The OYHG invests in high-yield corporate bonds paying out 8% annual for depositors. So more inclusion, right? being able to tokenize assets. We all know everything is going to be tokenized eventually. UK fully behind stablecoins for wholesale settlements, Treasury official says, right? This is hot news just this week. The UK government is fully behind a stablecoin for wholesale settlements that occur between banks. Andrew Griffith, the economic secretary, said in the meeting in Parliament on Tuesday. The stablecoin, a digital asset backed by fiat currency, wouldn't be issued by the government, but instead by a third-party provider. Who do you think that third-party provider is, guys? I know who it is, right? You should know, being in this community. It's Ripple, right? UK has been working with Ripple for years, right? Bank of England, right? So we know that's what they're building, and they're going to be using a third-party provider. They said it right here, okay? I want to see us establish a regime, and this will within the FSMB, Financial Services and Market Bill, for the wholesale use for payment purposes of stablecoins, Griffith said, right? So we know wholesale's coming first, bank to bank, and then it'll be retail, which is for you and me. Crypto exchange operator BitThumb is investigated by South Korean tax authorities, report. Yikes. South Korea's tax authorities are probing BitThumb's holdings, the parent company of the crypto exchange based in the country. The National Tax Service is reportedly investigating possible tax evasion via the domestic international transactions on BitThumb, guys. If you have money on BitThumb, get it off of BitThumb. You don't know what's going to happen next. Hong Kong's next green bond will be tokenized on the blockchain. We talk a lot about this. Last week, Hong Kong government issues $5.75 billion in green bonds in a mix of US dollars, euros, and renminbi. The bonds do not include blockchain, but the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, has confirmed that the next one will. The HKMA is working on another institutional government green bond in tokenized format. The HKMA spokesperson told Ledger Insights the objective is to test out the financial infrastructure and the legal and regulatory environment in Hong Kong to use DLT through the bond lifecycle and to serve as a guide in similar future use cases and participants. The HKMA has been working with the BIS Innovation Hub on the Green Bond Tokenized project in the last couple of years, so the news is not surprising. All right. Dubai, huge. Dubai free zone, now home to more than 500 crypto startups, guys. Dubai knows what's up. Dubai says it's now attracted 500 crypto companies in the wealthy Middle East. The Dubai Multi-Commodities Century, the DMCC, said Monday it registered around 3,000 new businesses last year, representing 23% jump from 2021. See, this is what the U.S. is missing, right? Because they're so stupid, they won't pass good regulation, and all these amazing companies are going or building overseas. That just makes sense. Of those, 343 were digital asset startups. The DMCC Crypto Center, the group told Blockworks, which would mean about 150 crypto-related startups were added in 2021. The DMCC's is the city's flagship free zone, which gives tax breaks and other benefits to startups. It launched a crypto hub in 2021, located in a 68-story skyscraper in the Jumeirah Lake Towers of Dubai, right? Dubai knows what's up. Let's keep going with the news. Digital pound won't track retail transactions, the UK Prime Minister says. The UK Minister moved to quell concerns that the digital pound issued by the Bank of England could be used to create a surveillance state where the government could track citizen spending. If the UK decides to move forward with a retail-focused central digital currency, it will be a platform model that wouldn't allow governments to be in individuals' transaction data, Andrew Griffith, Economic Secretary of the Treasury, said in evidence to the Parliamentary Select Committee. Intermediaries like banks will issue a wallet that individuals would use. He assured members of Parliament the government wouldn't have visibility on end user actions except under existing measures to protect against money laundering or fraud. So they're basically saying if you're not doing anything shady, they will not be looking at your transactions. Bank of England hires consultant Hyperion for CBDC projects. Contract awarded notices titled Point of Sale POS, Proof of Concept POS. So they have a feasibility study service on the e-commerce of CBDC published, right? So much is happening with the Bank of England right now, guys. They are really trying to pump out this stuff. Let's see what this says. The Bank of England is advancing its research into the technical possibilities of potential central bank digital currency by engaging a consultancy, Consult, Hyperon, a pair of assignments, each care a value of more than 100,000, about 122,000, global fintech reveal. A decision has yet to be made on whether to introduce a CBDC in the UK, but the Bank of England, like many central banks worldwide, have a growing number of team members focused on exploring feasibility and operational considerations for what has been described as a major national infrastructure project. And we know Bank of England is supposed to be going live with their internal payment system sometime this year, March through June. We'll see what happens. Let's keep going here, guys. The Saudi bank today announced the launch of its Open Banking Lab, an initiative that aims at enabling innovation and accelerate the development of open banking services in the kingdom. Let me see if I can pull this article up 1 second. I think I have so much open and my computer's running slow. Sorry. Let's see what this says, guys. Saudi Central Bank launches Open Banking Lab. The Saudi Central Bank SAMA announced it launched an Open Banking Lab according to the Open Banking Framework in SAMA in November of 2022. The Open Banking Lab aims to enable innovation and accelerate the development of open banking services in the kingdom, as it serves as one of the most important technical enablers of the open banking ecosystem in the kingdom. The lab will provide banks and fintechs with a technical testing environment to enable it to develop, test, and then certify their open banking services to ensure capability with an open banking framework. Open banking service is a new concept in the financial industry that aims to enable the consumers and the financial institutions to securely share their financial data with a third-party provider. You keep seeing this third-party provider here, don't we? Anyways, let's keep moving on, guys. We keep going, right? So this is back. I just like Ripple and Saudi Arabia Monetary Authority SAMA are in a pilot program. I just wanted to bring this up. They've been working with Ripple since 2018, guys, okay? The ECB, Fabio Panetta, takes aim at crypto. In a recent opinion piece, we cannot afford to leave cryptos unregulated. We need to build guardrails that address regulatory gaps and arbitrage and tackle the significant social costs on cryptos head on. I'm not going to get into that article. We'll just keep going. This is from R3. We must understand the importance of regulation as a means of providing trust and legal certainty, two important pillars of success. R3's chief economist, Alyssa Decap, said in this little chat here. Let's keep going. In this clip, Rebecca E, CEO. So this is, hold on, is this? Okay, hold on. So this guy's just going to talk a little bit about R3. Sorry, I thought it was a different clip.
The number one thing I get when talking about blockchain and climate change is you're here to kill the world. You're going to be consuming so much energy. And I say you're right. Bitcoin consumes 125 million joules of electricity. Ethereum consumes, before the merge, 17 million. Maybe after the merge, maybe 170,000. Corda, 24.7 joules.
So Ethereum after the merge, 170,000. Corda, as he said, 24?
24.7 joules. Yeah.
That's why you're not going to use Ethereum.
When I explain that to people, that the cost of a transaction on a Corda blockchain is less than the cost of an email, they start paying more attention to, okay, now explain to me why you're using blockchain. Well, it's for the same reasons I explained earlier on. It's about bringing confidence. It's about bringing trust. It's about bringing traceability and transparency that what you purchase hasn't been double counted, hasn't been sold to somebody else. That what you have purchased, you can track that asset all along the way, and there is no middleman in between that is here to make a quick buck. So fundamentally, for me, Corda is providing to this whole industry a kind of a trust technology.
And that's why Corda is going to be used by all the banks and institutions. Let's keep going. Curious about CBDCs and DLT, R3's global head of digital currencies and payments, Ricardo Correa, recently sat down with P27 Nordic Payments to share his thoughts. Read it here. I'm just going to go ahead and share this one, guys. I have so much more information to go to, and I don't want to keep you here all day. So let's just keep going through this. If you want to take a look at that, please do. This is a clip from CordaCon 2022. This says, oh, this is for blockchain. This is weird. Let me just play this.
And now you can understand why it's so difficult for us to build ecosystems in such markets, right? Because it takes so long before you get the clients on, but they can actually trade. Our solution to this is called blockchain. It's a play on blockchain with a Y in the middle, right? The idea is that we will use a blockchain to facilitate the document exchange. Document exchange over blockchain basically means it's immutable, everybody trusts it, and we'll provide APIs by which institutions can write scripts and automatically sort their counterparties into shortlist for approval or straight away reject based on different constraints. And very clearly, based on everything we know about Corda, R3 is really a great application or a great medium for this app.
All right, let's keep moving, guys. Keep moving. All right, what else we got here? Oh, this is the founder of R3. This is David Rudder. He has this little clip here. It's actually about 46 seconds. I'm just going to play it. It's actually not too bad. So it takes.
We recognize that.
Here we go.
We recognize that public blockchains have an important role to play in the future of finance. However, for regulated finance, you need both privacy and identity, which is built into the core layer of Corda. With public blockchain, neither exists and has to be added in what they call a layer 2 solution. I liken that to having you try to add a 60-story tower to the top of your 2-story house. It's not fundamentally designed to support it. However, we recognize that we need to interoperate and be able to connect to those systems in the future.
All right, let's keep it going. It's more about R3. We don't really need to get into ECG. All right, so I showed this clip last time, but I'll play it again. This is R3. They're talking about the DTCC partnership. This is the last time I'm going to play this, though. Check this out.
What you mentioned.
I'll be right back.
What is it? What triggered it? Very interested.
Okay, yeah, this is one near and dear to my heart. This is one that we just launched into production in the last month or so, and it is, I think, a really exciting step forward that R3 and ourselves are taking in partnership moving forward together. Basically, in a nutshell, it's supporting re-representation and digital settlement of existing asset classes. So we are operating in a production parallel, and I have to emphasize this fact. It is a production parallel because our classic systems, our legacy systems, we like to give them a more noteworthy sort of way of calling them. We like to appreciate them. So we call them our...
Listen to what she says at the end of this, though, because it's really important. She's talking about Project Ion, how they're doing 100,000 transactions up to 160,000 transactions. But at the end, she says, we're moving to have everything processed digitally. Listen.
Our classic systems, I like classic cars. But anyway, we do have our classic systems remaining the authoritative record, and they are responsible for the actual movement of securities and cash. However, I think what's really profoundly important about this first project is this parallel books and records that we really are doing things like proving out the technology in a way that the industry needs to take. So it is a first step forward. We deliberately are choosing a subset of DTC asset classes, so it's day deliver orders in equities. But we are processing some fairly sizable and impressive volumes. David Rudder this morning was quoting us as having about 100,000 transactions processing on a daily basis. We've seen peaks of 160,000. So from our perspective, what that's then shown is that the technology itself is able to support some decent volume. And eventually we'll get on quarter 5, and then we're looking to blow it out.
And then we're looking to blow it out to serve the full DTCC, right? Once this happens, guys, all of that money that flows out of the DTCC will be flowing on DLT solutions, right? More information from R3, but here, I'm getting a little tired of R3 right now. Saying more of the same, right? Digital payments, blah, blah, blah. We expect to see the technology play an increasingly important role in trade finance in 2023, but what exactly? Check out this. I'm just going to go ahead and post this. If you want to take a look at this yourself, I highly recommend you taking a look. This is predictions in 2023 from R3, okay? Let's keep it going, and this is the same kind of clip we played last week, so I'm not going to play it again. We love seeing, so this is from R3 again, we love seeing our ecosystem participants and Latam are up to it. It's super exciting to see that the DEX Brazil Energy Exchange platform using R3's Corda has officially been launched, enabling more sustainable free energy market, right? Energy is going to be tokenized. As you can see, they just launched this in Brazil using Corda, okay? Insights into ISO 20022 based request to pay and its benefits on how it'll influence by open banking combined with open banking powered A2A, account to account payments, and RTP offers even more advantages. Merchants receive their funds through immediate payouts, right? This is a big thing, right? When you own a small business and you have to wait 5-6 days for payments to process, if you can get that money instantly, now you can use it to maybe hire somebody or do other things. You can do more business in a month if you're not having to wait. Here's Joe Katz on what consensus models in a minute. I'm just going to play this. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. Let me just go back here.
To pack the kind of information that I want into 1 minute. I'm David Schwartz, CTO at Ripple, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Got 1 minute, okay. The first consensus model was proof of work. I guess the advantage of proof of work was at the time it was the only game in town, and it allowed for a decentralized system. That is one that doesn't rely on a central authority. Later developments included things like Federated Byzantine Agreement, which the XRP ledger uses, and proof of stake. Some of the advantages of these later developments are lower cost. Proof of work costs millions of dollars to pay the miners for the energy that they use. Proof of stake doesn't have that cost and can provide comparable security. And if you're the person who's paying those costs, if you're the people who are using the system, how much it costs just to keep the system secure is like a tax. It's residual friction that the system doesn't remove. Federated Byzantine Agreement, which is what the XRP ledger uses, makes the users of the system the stakeholders rather than the people who have the most money to spend on tokens or power. And that provides a more sort of democratic system where the costs can be low and the performance can be high.
I just thought it was funny, guys. He's reading from a script there, but I just thought it was funny. Let's keep it going here. So Ripple just came out with this Crypto 2023, focus on real world utility. A lot of this is already information that we already know. Let me just read a little bit here. Partly in reaction to the turmoil of 2022, Ripple SVP of Engineering Devaj Varhadian expects to see a general shift in the marketplace from highly speculative companies to companies that harness crypto solutions to solve real world problems, right, guys? We do know that regulation is coming, and I do think I agree with Brad Garlinghouse and a couple other people that it's going to kill a lot of crypto. That's why we've been focused solely on utility the last several months here over the 2022. A focus on real world applications will also help the proposal for the coming age of CBDCs, Cindy Young said. Managing Director of Europe says the potential for CBDCs to amplify the role of central banks and boost financial inclusion will lead to more non-Eurozone European nations to announce CBDC pilots in 2023. There's a lot more good information in here, guys, but you already know a lot of it since you've been into this chat. Most of you go to every chat, so you know what's saying here. Here's a good clip. This is from Yoda XRP. This is exactly why the SEC took action against Ripple and XRP. Check this out.
So Ripple and XRP actually did solve a problem, right? And we talked a lot about blockchain at the time as having problem-solving potential, but Ripple actually solved the problem. And that problem was improved into banking messaging. Their bridge tokenized currency, the idea of changing one token from another, really gave blockchain their start as a financial services product. It was the fastest on the market. Transactions were settled much more quickly. It was eco-friendly. It didn't have the overheads that came with the proof of work system. It provided as a kind of bridge currency for liquidity to change currencies amongst each other, and the ability to run private side change. This earned it the nickname of the banker's coin, and that kind of made a lot of people not want to look at it, because the whole point and premise of crypto anarchy was let's get rid of the banks. So a lot of people were just quick to dismiss Ripple because they just saw it as something that this is the banker's technology. But actually it was a problem that had been solved, and that problem was in banking. Upgrading these interpayment processing systems like SWIFT, which institutions use to move money between each other. They have a kind of four-eyed process. There's a lot of overhead in SWIFT and SWIFT Alliance. The Ripple token and payment processing solved this problem, and Santander utilized it through something called OnePayFX. And actually the institutions themselves became the very first target market for what this technology could change. And the institutions realized this. They realized we're at risk unless we become obsolete, unless we begin to innovate on blockchain, because somebody else will innovate on blockchain, realize that we are dinosaurs in terms of how money markets and money positions move, and they will not use us anymore. And that's what happened really with the Ripple and the SEC, is that they ended up replacing a core part of the financial backbone of the planet, and thus that threatens institutions and brings institutions essentially to the table.
And that's what happened. Right? That's what happened, right? The institutions ended up putting pressure on C, and they folded. So this is how I lost my Twitter, right? Let me just play this.
Finally, on a downbeat note of sorts, but maybe an upbeat note, I don't know how you think the market's going to think about it. Coinbase cutting nearly about 1,000 jobs this morning.
Look, I think that when you read that there are people from Sam Bankman-Fried's outfit that are out there trying to talk, whoever can get in line to speak to the U.S. attorney. I'm not saying Coinbase is necessarily involved with them. I'm just saying that whole, I like Mike Novogratz very much, but this whole thing is just, to me, a house of cards. And the NFT, does anyone really own NFT? I don't even know what to do with a fungible token. What do you do with a non-fungible token?
This is just pure stupidity talking. It really is.
So what does this say? At 37.15, is there a bottom here for you?
Look, I mean, it bounced yesterday, had a very big bounce, but we're in a different world now. And I think people realize that perhaps the whole thing was manipulated. I read John Stark, who was at 18 years in enforcement at SEC. He's a great follow. And he's saying, look, you got to get out of everything involved in this. There isn't anything that's not being manipulated. There isn't anything that's not going to be investigated. In the end, the SEC is going to come in and sweep everybody, because Gary Gensler's had it. There were a lot of Republicans who were urging him to say, hey, listen, fintech is here to stay. I think he's had it. I don't think anyone should be in any of these.
So I don't think anybody should be in any of these. It's just pure, like, this. Millions of people watch this idiot talk, and it aggravates me. What's the use of an NFT? There's hundreds of use cases for NFTs. And this person, if he took some time to just understand the technology instead of just being a talking puppet. Anyways, let's get back to this. This is a really good clip from John Deaton, guys. I want to play it for you. It is a little bit longer, but it is worth watching. Time put the SEC in check for Congress, defund them, abolish them, fire Gary Gensler.
The FTX case. When did the SEC get involved? They filed a lawsuit against FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried on behalf of 30 venture capitalists. So who are they protecting? They're protecting those VCs who risk money all the time as a part of their business model. They didn't file a case on behalf of the retail customer of FTX. And so they have completely abandoned the individual investor. They've abandoned accredited investor. You go back to when he was the chairman of the CFTC, MF Global happened under his watch. And what was his excuse? His excuse, Ray, was that he couldn't figure out how to access his work email from home. So I just want people to think about this.
This is Gary Gensler who said that.
Yes, Gary Gensler testified at Congress, right, that when this was all happening, he couldn't access his email. Ray, he's considered a child prodigy, and he was he was the youngest partner in the history of Goldman Sachs. The guy is a smart guy. Everybody says his problem is that he's always the smartest guy in the room, right? But this child prodigy, the youngest partner in the history of Goldman Sachs, couldn't figure out his work email. And that's why blah, blah, blah. So you know that his integrity and his credibility are questionable at best. But let's just look at competency. Forget corruption. Competence. He's incompetent. All this has happened under his watch. He should go. In 2018, and it's on the Crypto Law website, there's a video of Gary Gensler while he was at MIT, and he states on stage in 2018, April 2018, that the crypto market needs clarity. Those are his words. He even said, Ray, that Ripple, the company Ripple and Ethereum deserve clarity, and they need it. Now, that was 2018 when he was not chairman. We fast forward to today. He's chairman of the SEC, and he can do something about it. And what is his position? His position is that it's always been crystal clear and that he's not going to create new rules. He's not going to change any laws or provide any more guidance, that the Howey case from 1946 and all the other things, case law, is enough clarity, and that these companies need to come in and register. He won't give guidance. So clearly, capital formation, let's ask this. In the BlockFi bankruptcy, Ray, do you know who the number 2 largest creditor is?
I do not, John. Who is it?
It's the SEC.
Wow.
All right, because there was $100 million settlement, remember, between BlockFi and Gary Gensler's SEC. BlockFi had paid $70 million of it. There's still $30 million owed to the SEC. So BlockFi's bankruptcy, our SEC is the second largest creditor that is above customer deposits. So how does that happen with capital formation? Are you helping companies' capital formation when you're the second largest creditor in a bankruptcy? It's absurd. That's what I meant by corruption and competence, a combination. So there's that.
That's why we played it. Let's keep it going, guys. A lot more information to go over. Interoperability is a key word in the new digital era, especially for the payment industry. We need a public ledger that connects to those CBDCs, and we all know XRP has the most efficient interoperability. Let's see what this is from the World Economic Forum.
Public platform can connect different CBDCs. There can be interoperability the same way you would transfer euros from one country to another. You do it using CBDCs.
They'd asked me, do I want to pay in euro or dollar? Yep. And I said, okay, dollar. Then I looked at it. I'm still being charged at 3%. Terrible. Okay. And when you think about all the people who send money, or they may work in one country, send money back home, they generally do that through organizations that charge 5 to 10%. Yeah. There is a need, whether it's a Libra or something else, to democratize the exchange of foreign currencies.
Anyways, just interesting to see. What's her name? Georgieva, right? Christina Georgieva. DBS.
Transactions happen over the counter has hardly changed through the years. Project Guardian explores how blockchain technology can potentially revolutionize the process. To tap on the benefits of blockchain and smart contract, An open interoperable network was conceptualized to allow assets, such as cash or securities in traditional forms, to be tokenized. As part of the asset tokenization process, minted tokens are whitelisted and then held within their respective digital asset wallets. Verifiable credentials, or VCs, are issued by the respective trust anchors and held in the wallets of the liquidity provider, as well as those of traders, to authorize the use of funds held in respective digital asset wallets. In contrast against DeFi protocols in crypto space, where users are anonymous, VCs are required for any user to transact against the institutional-grade DeFi protocol to reinforce KYC and AML processes. Using tokenized assets, authorized liquidity providers can deposit assets into the pool based on the live price feed and the pool price. Authorized traders can key in the intended trade and get indicative pricing from the automated market maker. If the price is acceptable and within the market price threshold validation, the trader can proceed to enter trades against the pool. Atomic trading and settlement of tokenized assets enables greater efficiencies and transparency, as well as lower settlement risk. As one of the first of its kind to be developed on public blockchain, we continue to explore DeFi for traditional financial markets. In collaboration with regulators and industry ecosystem partners, and expand the possibilities the digital asset ecosystem can deliver to the world.
Anyways, DBS is a Ripple partner, so let's keep it going. All right, Project Guardian, here we go. So Project Guardian is a collaborative initiative with the financial industry that seeks to test feasibility of applications of tokenized assets in DeFi, and there's some more information on it. Use technology standards, policy standards, and industry pilot. So they're building it, they're waiting for it. We did talk about this already. Project Jasper is just, sorry, I was researching something and I got sidetracked there. Let me just refresh this. All right, so there's still a lot more, guys. Sorry, I know this chat's gonna go a little bit longer, but here, look. So many people have difficulties distinguishing between carbon credits and emission allowances. Carbon reporter Mike I can't say his last name, are doing a great job in drawing attention to the differences, right? Here you go, carbon credits. Each carbon credit represents a reduction of 1 metric tons of CO2 equivalent to greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon credits are created through projects that reduce, remove, and avoid greenhouse gases. Project examples are preserving forests, changing agricultural practices. Carbon credits are mostly traded on voluntary carbon markets, and then each emissions allowance represents the right to emit 1 metric ton of CO2 equivalent. Emissions allowances are part of cap and trade systems. Max emissions cap that can be emitted by entities covered by the system are set by regulatory authorities. Within the cap, regulated entities buy or receive emission allowances. So I thought this was interesting. I didn't have or know the differences in my head, and I just saw this and I thought it was a good thing for me to introduce to you guys, because you guys might not know the difference. Okay, so this is from the XRP buyback discussion. I'm just going to play this. It's about 54 seconds. Some good back and forth here.
In terms of price appreciation, if we do see an environment where institutions globally, when you're speaking of debt, derivatives, tokenized value in general from a global stance, what do you see happening, not just to XRP, but to utility tokens and distributed ledgers that are responsible for transmitting said value in that environment overall? Do you see that utility essentially being the catalyst globally for positive price appreciation upward?
Yes, in short, I do. That is why I'm invested in XRP. That is why I build on the XRP ledger. The more utility, I believe, there will be a upwards pressure on the price of XRP, because XRP is used to pay fees, it's used as a bridge currency, etc. So I believe there will be some appreciation.
There's actually a lot of other clips floating around online, guys. This whole conversation was quite long. There are some other clips. I shared a video in the Sensei research. I share a lot of videos in the research section that I made just to follow along with what I'm watching and what I'm doing on some of the stuff. But I just wanted to put that out there. Ripple's Korean partner SendB announces expansion into the US, right? So another Ripple partner, SendB. We're doing expecting more to expand, right? So this is from Wednesday, 1/11/23. This is brand new news, guys. South Korean payments company and RippleNet user SentB announced that it launched its international money transfer services in the United States. According to the press release, users of the company services, which primarily represent the working class and migrant workforce, will now be able to send money and transfers from the new country to more than 50 other countries where SentB operates. More bridges being built out, guys, right? More bridges being built out. San Francisco-based fintech firm Ripple is confident that crypto and XRP adoption will continue to grow in 2023. Central bank digital currencies implementation continues to see a new development in 2023 from Europe to Russia. All have taken significant steps to fasten the process, but at what cost? I'm not going to read that article, but it is something that maybe you want to take a look at. I will post it for you in the chat here, and we'll keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Crypto acquisitions in 2023 will further strengthen the industry in the aftermath of the FTX collapse, Ripple XF predicts. Argentina legislation may force citizens to declare their digital asset holdings, otherwise they could face hefty penalties, right? So we are seeing some regulation go one way, we're seeing regulation go the other way, but it is regulation, none the facts. So let's keep it going.
Commercial banks aren't terribly
Okay, so this is a clip of Gary Gensler when he was a teacher. He's talking about XRP, and I think he's talking about XRP here. Check this out.
Maybe you're going to have to give some ownership. Maybe you'll have to give 50% of your ownership to the 20 banks that are now part of this. There are other ways to build incentive systems. Maybe you put a native token in there and you give them the native token. So there may be other incentive ways to beat the current monopolist. But having been around commercial banks for a long time, they really are looking for ways to replace their aggregators in their back office, whether it's clearing, settlement, exchanges, credit agencies. But they are deeply understanding that every idea that's pitched to them is somebody who currently is small but wants to get big and gain market power. So they're also always thinking about how to ensure that there's a check to slow down your startup from gaining market power 5, 10, and 15 years from now. They don't want you to be the next clearinghouse like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange or Intercontinental Exchange. They don't want you to be the next central node of market power. So you might share some of that with them, or you might find an incentive system.
I learned if you're a rich guy, you don't break the rules. So I was like, but I could buy OTC. And so I end up calling Vitalik. I met once, didn't really know me. And I bought Ethereum from Vitalik.
You OTC'd ETH from Vitalik?
At 96 cents. I'm not going to tell you how much, but it's not an insignificant amount.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, but Ethereum, they haven't ruled on yet. I bet dimes to donuts. They will say Ethereum probably was a security, but it's not anymore.
Ethereum's early advantage is apparent in so many ways. One is a regulatory advantage in that Ethereum and Bitcoin arrived on the scene before regulators were watching. And which islands were we going to buy, and what were we going to do with these hundreds of millions of dollars that people were going to drop on us? It took a little time to explore those issues, and also the main issue, which we realized was, would we be selling unregistered securities to Americans? We took a little pause. Yes, it was a 7-month pause. I drove lots of the legal work. We got a piece of paper in our pocket before we actually launched the token sale. And
yeah, that's exactly what they did, right? They took money from people to build a network. Ethereum is a security, if anything is a security. On January 9th, 50 million XRP worth 17.4 million was transferred from Ripple's wallet to an unidentified wallet. At this time, there is a limited information about the recipient wallet. A lot of XRP moving. On January 10, 2023, the World Bank published its Global Economic Prospects Report, starting with the outlook for global economy and the future economic conditions. Let's take this. It says it's going to be bleak. Let's see what it says. The World, so it's published a report, says it's going to be bleak. Oh yeah, okay, check this out. The World Bank, the financial organization with 174 member countries, released its Economic Prospects Report on Tuesday. The report envisions a sharp, long-lasting slowdown to hit developing countries hard. The World Bank cites numerous issues plaguing the global economy, including the COVID-19 pandemic and escalating geopolitical tensions, as reasons why world economy could spiral into a recession. The report also mentions interest rate hikes by central banks and higher than expected inflation and continuing factors to adverse developments, right? So that's when someone says, hey, are we in a bull market? No, guys, we are not. We are going into a very, very tough year. 2023 is going to be extremely tough. So don't overbuy right now. We are going to go see lower prices. If you want to take a look at this full report, guys, please go ahead and do take a look at that and check it out. Let's keep it going though. In a tweet today, the prominent analyst asserted that the asset could soar as high as $80, right? So there's a lot of things going around with XRP talking about it could go as high as $80. Nobody really knows how high it's going to go. XCC, I have XCC news now. Here you go. Secretary General of the IC United Kingdom, Chris Salesworth, an electronic trade documents bill and the impact of global trade.
Electronic trade documents bill is really quite simple. It's putting
commercial trade documents in digital form. And it's important it's not digital documents. We're not talking about PDFs here. We're talking about getting the information off the paper and into the IT system. That's basically what we're talking about. But what the bill does is it puts commercial trade information in digital form on the same legal footing as paper. So if there's a dispute or companies are in a disagreement in a court, if you're working on a blockchain platform or a technology platform or system, that will stand up in court. That's not the case at the moment. It has to be on paper. It has to be written, signed, and so on and so forth.
So that's why they're changing the laws, guys, right? Because it had to be written on paper. So that's why they're trying to change the law in the UK right now for digital trade. This is XDC. ITFA is very confident that electronic trade documents will become the law in 2023, right? This is what is going to send XDC through the roof. ITFA and the IC United Kingdom work closely with the Law Commission, a statutory independent body of the UK, to bring the bill to fruition. Let's see what this says. The Electronic Trade Documents Bill was introduced in the UK in House of Lords on the 12th of October, and the bill has now completed its second reading as a part of the expedited procedure. Next, the bill will go to the House of Commons, and the ITFA are very confident that it will become law in early 2023. ITFA and the IC United Kingdom work closely with the Law Commission, a statutory independent body of the UK bill to fruition, right? So that's great news to see, guys. The XCC Divine Touch NFT project coming to Primeport XYZ soon. So I don't know if you're buying NFTs on XDC, but this looks like it could be a good project. I saw a lot of people talking about this, so I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I don't know anything about it, though. All right? Stop that. We'll keep it going, guys. All right. What if XRP becomes systemically important? The bank's corporate uses XRP to move reserves around the world will create liability for Ripple. Why does RippleNet use gateways? If no one person or entity could control XRP, how about a group of participants decentralized? Guys, there's so much information here. I'm not going to read through all of this, but there's just so much to go through here. If you want to take some time and go through this, it's not anything you haven't heard before, but there is a lot of information, and this is the documents from Deloitte, one of the top four audit companies. Right. XDC's Inigio's Trace Original is now compliant with DCSA standards for e-bill of lading. All parties will benefit from the standards at Ingio. We are currently working with several corporates, banks, and freight forwarders in order to digitize export and import documents, right? So this is talking about more of what we're hearing. Ingio's Trace is self-certified as an adopter of the Digital Container Shipping Association standard for e-bill of lading. Standards and interoperability are key factors to achieve efficient trade processes, as there are several parties involved with the export and import transactions. Ingio welcomes standard and are pleased to confirm that it has self-certified its solution Trace Original as an adopter of the DCA's standard for electronic bill of lading, right? So they're moving closely with this. Biggest news of the year so far, XCC crypto. Let's hear what this is. Oh, this is not a thing. Okay, so it says the bill has successfully passed the next stage of the parliament, scheduled for today and the 19th. So this is actually really close to going through, guys. Really close. So a global US dollar stablecoin network could encourage the use of a dollar by making cross-border payments faster and cheaper, and it's potentially could be deployed as a much faster and fewer downsides than a CBDC. So this is talking about RippleNet, IBM, Stellar, right? So if you scroll down in here, so this is like the real-time payments. It says money remittances, checks, card payments, real-time payments, interbank, and then you have chips, CLS, right? And then Fed wire funds, these are clearinghouses. And then you have DLT platforms, e.g. RippleNet, IBM World Wire Center, right? So you have talking about this here, and you have XRP. It's everywhere, guys, right? This doesn't say Ethereum. This doesn't say Quant. This says RippleNet, IBM World Wire, which is Stellar, okay? Just understand that. Can regulation limit access or ban crypto payments? Accredited investor. So right now, the World Economic Forum is trying to change, they're trying to change where accredited investors have to have $10 million or more to be able to buy some of this stuff. We got to be very careful what the World Economic Forum is doing, right? Because they're trying to make sure that only rich people can buy cryptocurrency, right? And so this is what it's saying, ban crypto payments, but still allow citizens to hold it, or decide that only qualified investors can hold it, right? We just need to be careful what the World Economic Forum is doing. XDC SureComp joining DNI and TFD initiatives. This says SureComp has decided to join forces. The flagship market initiatives, DNI initiative and the TFD initiative, recognizing the industry's momentum around the two key market trends, the global adoption of UNCE FACT model law and electronic transfer records, MLATR. XCC members of the DNI initiative involved with the Paris Europlace MLATR working group will be gathering in Paris this Thursday. So this was yesterday. I'm looking for more information. I should have some more information updates from what happened here and what they discussed on Tuesday. XTC Network is helping the UK achieve these crypto framework standards globally. We went over this in last chat, so I'm not going to do it again. Okay, so this is Jean-Pierre Ladeau, former senior official of the French Treasury. We have a revolutionary change in payments and money. We have the technology that central banks can embrace and issue their own digital money. Let's take a look at this, guys.
The second one, you heard about it, are stable coins, which are digital tokens backed by some assets, diversity of assets. And the third one is cryptocurrencies, which exist by themselves in their own unit of account, moving and backed by nothing. So these are the three types of monetary architecture.
Well, guys, it's really hard to hear this on my end, and I'm sure it's going to be harder to hear it on your end. I'm just going to post it here and move on because it is really hard to hear that, and I don't want to play 3 minutes of you not being able to hear, okay? XRP Ripple, FAM, the World Bank Group on Distributed Ledger Technology and Blockchain, DL Ripple, and Financial Inclusion for Cross-Border Payments and Remittances. Example, Ripple has its own cryptocurrency, XRP. So this is just more documents. This is from the World Bank, right? Distributed Ledger Technology, and then we go over here, and then you can see here's Corda, right? And here's Ripple. You have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Corda. Okay? And then they talk about Ripple down here. So we know they're going to be using the technology. This is from Credit Suisse, 2016 report on blockchain DLT. Bottom line, Bitcoin bad, blockchain better. Distributed ledger technology removes the counterparty and the transaction record, universal, visible, and immutable. So this is Credit Suisse. And I'll post this too, guys, but you can see that banks are not going to use Bitcoin, right? You can tell they're not going to. So this is FAM, Klaus Knot's private sector must do its part to help meet net zero targets. The swans I see are not the green ones. Standard systems you can build on and go further and faster, enable interoperability.
Sustainability ambitions. As I mentioned at the start, the financial sector must play its part, both to help meet net zero targets and to manage the financial risks from climate change. The two goals, of course, are closely connected. If the transition to a low-carbon economy is delayed or disorderly, the global economy and financial system will face significant risks. And this was the conclusion of recent climate scenario analysis and stress tests conducted by financial authorities across various jurisdictions. By further deepening our understanding of these financial risks, we can not only protect the financial system, but also help to give greater impetus to a timely and orderly transition. The FSB's roadmap for addressing climate-related financial risks has been developed to coordinate ambitious action to assess and to address these risks. Since the launch of the roadmap in July last year, progress has been made across all four of its building blocks: disclosures, data, vulnerabilities analysis, and regulatory and supervisory practices and tools. Allow me to briefly elaborate on these four building blocks, stressing their interdependencies. Let me start with disclosures. Work to strengthen the quality and the consistency of climate-related financial disclosures has been moving forward rapidly. The International Sustainability Standards Board has made very encouraging progress, building on the Task Force of Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, the TCFD's recommendations. The ISSB's two exposure drafts set out baseline standards for both general sustainability-related and more specific climate-related disclosures. And this marks a key milestone in the move towards establishing globally consistent, comparable, and decision-useful disclosures. The ISE, in doing so, is taking a building block approach. And this allows countries to use its common global baseline and also be able to build on that baseline to develop national approaches to suit individual circumstances and priorities. And this will provide jurisdictions with the flexibility to be more ambitious and to go further and faster if they wish to do. At the same time, the common baseline will allow interoperability of approaches. Disclosures are important for investors' financial decision-making, but they also have wider financial importance. They will provide necessary information on the progress being made by firms toward the transition, which is important to investors, but also to a wider set of stakeholders. Such disclosures must provide the information needed to assess the credibility of private sector commitment and action. The second building block is data. Firm-level disclosures are essential, but are not the only data that we need. We also need macro-level data to help us determine which sectors of the economy are most at risk. We need government data, for example, on the policy plans to curb emissions and their effects. We need data on underlying climate risks, for instance, on the frequency and severity of extreme weather events. And so let me wrap up. The swans that I see on the Amstel River, the ones that have a calming, mesmerizing effect on me, are of course not the green swans that this conference refers to. Nevertheless, they do have some important commonalities. The gracefulness of a swan obscures what happens beneath the water's surface. It conceals what it takes to propel action. It makes the hard look easy. In the same way, a graceful climate transition requires urgent action under the surface. As policymakers, we must ensure that the move to net zero is underpinned by a resilient financial system, one which can manage the challenges associated with climate change, and one which can propel the green transition forward. Members of the public may only see the outcome of such propulsion, just as I only see the swan above the surface. But those who regulate and those who operate within the financial system know the status quo will not suffice. Significant work is required, and I look forward to doing that work together so that we can make the graceful transition a reality.
I just thought that was great. I really like that clip. Financial inclusion, green. You know what? I'm not going to play this one. All right, let's keep going. So this is the problem right now, guys. This is why I'm telling you that we're not going into a bull market, right? Because if you look at the numbers, it's not good, right? So you think interest rates will stay at 5% for the year, as the Fed is saying. By the end of 2025, a huge portion of debt will mature and refinance at higher rates. 38 trillion in debt at 5% is 1.9 trillion in interest expenses per year. That's 50% of tax revenue. Right? So we know the system is close to breaking, right? We know that we're heading that way, and that will cause a huge disruption in all markets, right? Digital Currency Group owes creditors $3 billion, okay? Goldman Sachs to cut 3,200 jobs this week. I like this clip. I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to post it for you. This chick, her and her husband make about $120,000 a year, and they're living paycheck to paycheck, and she's just complaining about things, but I just thought it was a good clip. Anyways, let's continue. Crypto in a minute. Let's play this
Anything
one.
to do with blockchain, massive challenge. But if the XRP ledger can confirm a transaction in less than 5 seconds, I can do this in 1 minute. Hi, this is Ashish Burla, and this is Crypto in a Minute. What's the difference between crypto and blockchain? Somewhere along the journey of crypto, folks decided that the blockchain aspect was cool, but not the cryptocurrency aspect. And so folks decided to distinguish between crypto, which means a crypto asset, and a blockchain, and just the blockchain. But unfortunately, they don't work without each other. And so you need a cryptocurrency because you want the entire blockchain to be decentralized. You want it to run without counterparties. And you can do that with a neutral cryptocurrency like XRP.
All right, let's keep going. That was a blank. Sorry. Okay, so no, I don't want to go into that. All right, the recent crypto market turmoil highlights the urgency for tackling the risk. There are different lines of policy action, including issuing central bank digital currencies to encourage sound innovation. I'm just going to post this. I just want to get through this, guys. I still have some good information to go through, and I just want to get to it. So let me just keep going.
Favorite use case for the Stellar Network, for what we've built, for the partnership with MoneyGram and Circle. It is the thing that creates transparency for the donors and opportunities for the internally displaced as well as the refugees. I am so excited, and Carmen and her team have spent a lot of time educating us about UNHCR and everything that we need to do to even improve and be better on our side. So it's been an awesome collaboration, and I'm really grateful for it. It is nothing less than the urgency of doing from the topic of our conference, obviously. I expect that you understand that theme really well, given your work and given what the UNHCR does. Talk versus reality is a really big issue with new technologies. So how is the UNHCR going beyond the hype to make it a real impact?
Yeah. So the preparedness, the readiness is obviously very important. So whenever we have a crisis, so we have a crisis in Ukraine at this point. We had several months before we had Afghanistan, so we had Syria before. So the key is that we come out of that crisis mode, that we can actually prepare ourselves. So anytime, anywhere, any device, we are ready to actually get that money to the person. So this is really our objective, to have a very powerful financial gateway. So we are not, every time we have a crisis, trying to figure out how is this now going to work. Whilst UNHCR has been doing this, doing cash for some time, and we are looking at millions of transactions. So we're not looking at 10,000 transactions. Potentially we could have as many transactions as we have displaced people. So if we have 100 million displaced people, the key is that for that to manage this kind of volume, ever increasing volume, we need to have very integrated, high-end, best-in-class technology and obviously best practices. I'm confident that this is actually only the beginning, so more to come.
More to come, guys. More to come. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Oh man, that's a good clip. There's so much stuff I have. All right, here I'm gonna save this one for next time. Okay, here let's play this one. This is Le Monde Béard from Hedera. Check this out.
Why is it so age so divided? Look, okay, let me give an analogy. Okay. And I don't want to answer your question because I don't want to get in trouble and hurt the project.
And I'm not saying,
I do want to answer.
Yeah.
In the late 90s,
yes,
we had this web thing that had come along.
Yes.
Everybody starts a web company.
Yes.
And I like pets. I'll make a pets.com. I don't have a business plan. I don't actually know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to go to VCs and get millions of dollars from VCs because I'm going to have a website, and web is cool.
Yes.
Okay.
And web succeeds. All web succeeds.
All web succeeds. Yeah. So some of those on paper are billion-dollar companies, and they have nothing but pets.com or a domain, and literally nothing. They don't even have a business plan. They don't know what they're going to do. And there are two kids in their dorm room, and this is the billion-dollar company.
Yes.
Then there were also mixed in some little companies like Amazon.com that said, we're going to think carefully about how to build something that actually changes the world. This is what people need. We're going to build something that makes people's lives better, and we're going to build a company around it. We'll name it Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they were worth a lot to the VCs too. So we have all these people worth a lot to the VCs. People are gambling on them. Then you had the dot-com crash, and the chaff got blown away, and what we were left with was the wheat.
Yes.
And that, I think, we see rounds of that in our industry, and our industry is going to see more of that. We're still in our infancy. It's still the Wild West. There's still silliness going on.
Yeah.
But at some point, the real ones will survive. The non-real things will go away.
The non-real things will go away. That's a great clip, right? And that's why we talk about utility. That's John Deaton. I'm going to pass on that one. El Salvador's Legislative Assembly has approved digital securities bill that will bring changes to crypto regulation. The bill would allow the issuance of Bitcoin bonds and volcano bonds? I don't know about that. Anyways, El Salvador is keep pushing the BTC. FedNow versus real-time payments, right? This is interesting, right? FedNow, 4.5 seconds. Real-time payment, 4.5 seconds. Use cases, business to business, what's that? Business to company or business corporation, and person to person. Transactions amount 500,000, operated by the Federal Reserve. And then real-time payments, same thing, 1 million, operated by a consortium of large banks, interoperability and value add services of its members. This will allow banks to transfer funds between FedNow Instant Account and Federal Reserve. I wonder what they're using for 4.5 seconds right here. I bet you that sounds like something we know. Chainlink is for smart contracts, not a global reserve currency for CBDs with SWIFT. XRP is the first body member of the ISO 2002, and XLM is the second body member. We just got to remember that. ISO 2002, a whole new language in banking and financial institutions. The whole world has until 2025 to implement it.
If we just look for a few seconds at the scale of the change that is coming to the world of banking and payments in particular as a result of ISO 20022, it's actually frightening. 11,000 financial institutions in more than 200 countries around the world. That's just the correspondent banking network affected by the SWIFT transition to ISO 20022. Add to that all of the domestic institutions that are attached to domestic payment systems. There are nearly 8,000 of those in the United States of America alone who are on their own path towards implementation of ISO 20022. Many of those domestic institutions, of course, are not part of the international correspondent banking network. Then there's the corporates. This is an enormous change. And actually, as you say, there's an enormous shortage of skills in this area. ISO 20022 is a whole new language. Every single piece of business terminology in the old Swift MT world changes. Every single one. And it's not just the names of the fields or the field elements that change. The business process of moving money from one place to another is also changing in front of our very eyes. So irrespective of which layer of architecture you look at, the move towards ISO 20022 imposes the requirement for new skills and certainly new understanding at every single level and in every position of an organization whose business has anything to do with the movement of money. That is terrifying.
Right? Everything has to move over, guys. 11,000 banks, 8,000 non-banks in the US. Can you imagine? Like, there's got to be 40, 50,000 payment services that have to move to ISO, guys. It's all the money, guys. All the money's moving to ISO. Here we go with some IOTA news. Inside, it says Digimarc uses the Tangle to anchor their product and supply chain data and will create a digital twin of any product. Customers can access this data through their cloud and can be sure that the data is untampered. So Walmart and Digimarc coming up with a partnership here. This is good information. This is how ISO 200 cryptos will be backed with value like gold, silver, copper, and palladium, right? So I thought this was interesting, right? So you have Ripple here. It says it's gold, Stellar is silver, Zinfin's copper, Algorand's palladium, IOTA is iridium. I just thought this was interesting, right? People think, who knows, they could be backed by assets. I think these will have their values of their own. I don't think gold will be backed by XRP, but you never know. You never know. But this was just an interesting tweet. I just thought I'd share it with all of you guys. You guys can take a look when you have some time. Let's keep going. I know we've been here. Oh my God, I put way too much stuff in this chat. Okay, maybe I won't get through this whole chat. Sorry, guys. Should I finish this chat or should I just save some of this for Tuesday? I don't know. There's just so much news and information. This is just IOTA stuff. I'll skip this for now. Here, let me just skip this for now. I'll bring this back in the next chat. Okay, CBDCs can significantly increase financial inclusion because they can be distributed in any way. It can be distributed in any money. CBDCs is the future. 85% of payments leaders in the financial institutions globally think their country will launch a digital currency over the next 4 years. We'll see the mass adoption. So this is a very exciting step forward for CBDCs industry to address one of the biggest challenges in payments, interoperability. They're where different systems can work together, said Anthony Welfare. So here's an article about CBDCs and working together. I am not going to read it because I want to. Long chats are always good. All right, I won't rush then. I won't rush. All right, so here, look, let's get into some regular news, right? MetaMask's newest offering is hoping to eliminate barriers to entry for people interested in staking, but who don't want to launch their own validator node. So it looks like MetaMask partners with Lido, Rocket Pool to enable e-staking. So that's happening. BIS economists did suggest TradeFi can learn from crypto innovation, could boost quality of payments and reduce costs. We understand that, but this is the BIS putting this out, which is really good to see. Barely 10 days after speculation that Wiry was shut down, the crypto payments firm has secured funding. I figured this would happen, right? You have Jed McCaleb there with billions of dollars of his own, and Wire is a central part of Stellar's ecosystem for on and off ramping fiat to crypto. It looks like they did get some kind of deal to stay in business, which is good news for Stellar. DCG is reportedly considering selling parts of its venture capital portfolio, which could include Coinbase, Ripple, Silvergate, Decentraland, and Bitcoin's Lightning network, among others. Guys, be very careful about if Digital Currency Group has to liquidate some of the BTC that Grayscale holds, that could be a problem. Grayscale holds like 630 or 642,000 Bitcoin. Just be careful. Breaking U.S. headline CPI falls 0.01 month after month, right? So we only had a change of 0.01 since the last thing. So the Fed is probably going to raise rates again. Amazon and Google are competing for market share of hosted blockchain nodes. Amazon has opted to partner with Avalanche while Google went deep in on Solana. So you like to see that. Antonio Trenchev, Next. So somebody just told me that they pulled their money off of Nexo. Whoever did that, you're a genius, because now Nexo is being raided in Bulgaria, guys. Check this out. This is crazy. All right. The offices of troubled crypto lender Nexo have been raided by Bulgarian officials for alleged financial crimes, including money laundering, tax evasion, and fraud. Holy shit. Over 300 offices and regulators have been involved in the investigation, and police have searched over 15 addresses related to Nexo. Local news website Standard reported that the investigations are part of a larger international operation that are looking at violations of internal financing sanctions against Russia. And wow, good thing you got your money off of Nexo, guys. Good thing. Roughly $2 billion worth of ECNY is circulating through Chinese economy. So you can see that now they have $2 billion worth of digital currency going through their economy right now. You can see China has been expanding this rapidly. Binance is now registered in Italy, Spain, France, Poland, Cyprus, Sweden, and Lithuania. Just wanted to push that out. Bulgarian law enforcement. Oh, we talked about Bulgarian law enforcement. Chilean cryptocurrency exchanges said that banks acted against exchanges based on no clear laws, with 79% of closing service denying events happened in the period of 3 months. Let's see what this says. The conflict between banks and cryptocurrency exchanges in Chile is still developing, as some banks are received to serve this kind of institution. A new report prepared by exchanges reports that most of these banks refuse to include crypto companies as customers for risks that they are never worthless managed in the case of servicing other kinds of customers. So it looks like they're having some trouble in Chile understanding cryptocurrency exchanges and what they're going to do, but banks can't hook up to them. That's not a good thing. Forbes gives Alchemy Pay Web3 Innovation Pioneer Award of the Year. Cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase is closing down parts of its operations in Japan after announcing another round of job cuts. German financial watchdogs issues warning about malware hitting banking and crypto apps. I wanted to get into this, guys, because it's important. I don't want you clicking on the wrong thing. The agency overseeing the financial sector in Germany has issued a warning about Godfather malware attacking banking and crypto applications. Hundreds of platforms have been targeted, the regulator noted, including those operating in the Bundesamt. The Federal Financing Supervisor Authority of German, BaFin, has warned customers about the threats of malicious software known as Godfather. So guys, just be very careful of what you're clicking on, what you're doing. I'll post this. It looks like it's in Germany right now, but it will. I know, LAX, I'm trying to get through. I don't have too much left. I'll go through it quick. Let's keep going. Central Bank of Russia suggests solutions for payments with a digital ruble and CBDC. We know Russia's been working on that. Litecoin supporters are anticipating an upcoming LTC block reward halving. It will occur roughly 202 days from now. If you're a Litecoin holder, understand that. British government considers adopting broader crypto regulations. We already talked about that earlier. The Fed will continue to focus on crypto. We do not want to hinder innovation, said the Fed Governor Bowman. Peter Schiff urges investors to sell their Bitcoin amidst $19,000 price. House Republicans make it official. Cryptocurrency, digital assets, Bitcoin, stablecoins will now have a dedicated subcommittee in Congress, which we want to see, guys. This is good news. Ripple General Counsel and CEO wants Congress to oversee the SEC. Coin named dirtiest crypto for 2022 in carbon emissions. Out of the 10 cryptocurrencies in the market capitalization, XRP used the least energy per transaction last year. Polygon Network registered the second highest CO2 emissions per transaction. March, guys, March is when things are happening. Other capital requirements. The OC expects a rulemaking on capital requirements for market risk and the fundamental review trading book by March 2023. The Federal Reserve expects further action on the Committee Reinvestment Act joint rulemaking by 2023, right? March 2023. Bank Secretary Act. The Fed expects further action and procedures for monitoring BCA compliance by March, right? Everything's happening in March, guys, right? Basel III, capital reserves. The FDIC and OC expect to finalize the Basel III endgame revision rulemaking by March. Guys, March is going to be a hot month. Here we see from the Digital Pound Foundation, the geopolitics of CBDC. Central bank digital currencies, a digital form of central bank issued fiat currencies, have several explosive growth and interest over the past 4 years. At the start of 2023, 104 countries representing 95% of the global GDP are currently exploring CBDCs, and 60 are in advanced stage of deployment. We're almost there, guys. We're so close. ISO 2002 XML transition, right? SWIFT, Eurozone Target 2, starting in March. SWIFT, ISO, MX messages. CHAPS, April 2023. CHIPS, November 2023. Fedwire funds, March 2025. India, union budget. 5 ways to make digital rupee and see more success. I will tell you that right now they have about 18,000 people using this. They currently think they're going to have 50,000 by the end of this month. Debt is a national security problem. Running trillion-dollar deficits can only happen for so long. So the interest expense on public debt in the United States is now at a record high.
There was a time you went to college campuses and you talked about an equity and debt. I think in this case, it wasn't necessarily Fed-induced, but it was entitlement-induced. Yeah. And it could come, this was 10 years ago, and I think you said sometime between Nostradamus. You said 2020 and 2035.
Yeah.
So it's 2000. Is it 2022? Is it happening?
We are in deep trouble. So everything I said at those colleges is worse in terms of the metrics, except for one thing. And what I miscalculated was I didn't calculate zero rates, I used 4% rates. But the only thing Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton agreed on in 2016 was don't cut Social Security, don't cut entitlements. So nothing was done. Joe Biden has excoriated Rick Scott because he dared mention maybe we shouldn't be increasing senior pays. But if you look at the reversal I just talked about and you use the CBO estimate, which is rates at 3.8%, which I think frankly is pretty optimistic given all the things we've talked about. By 2027, the interest expense alone on the debt eats all healthcare spending. By 2047, it eats all discretionary spending. So we're now getting into fiscal dominance. By the way, by 49, it eats all Social Security. We're getting to the point now where the interest expense on the debt is so high that it's going to eat up our ability to basically service the next generation. I'm not even sure about the current one.
Guys, like that, this is what I'm talking about, right? We are in a huge problem right now with debt. It is going really crazy. But check us out. California, digital IDs could arrive in California this spring. Interesting. Cron 4 news, local news. What's up, Cron 4? California Governor Gavin Newsom spoke about the future of digital driver's licenses in the state when sharing his new budget proposal in Sacramento this week. Newsom said the digital ID cards would arrive in a matter of months. All right, so digital IDs are coming to California. UK Treasury Minister says wholesale stablecoin will precede CBDC. All right, let's keep going. Interledger Protocol, XRP, XEC, XLM, IOTA, Quant, Algo, cryptocurrency, crypto. So this is talking about Interledger ILP and Ripple Connect, right? Ripple Connect validators. And all banks and payment providers from the smallest to the largest can leverage the Interledger Protocol to securely and efficiently transact cross-currency. ILP can work with many new networks or systems, right? It can work with all of these systems. XRPL TPS is scalable with payment channels, right? So they're talking about with payment channels, it can 100,000 signatures per second and verify over 70,000 transactions per second. So it can definitely scale. 43 billion XRP as of December, it remains in escrow. Japan's financial watchdog expects the local unit of Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX to repay funds to customers starting in February. If you're in Japan and you have money in FTX, you're going to get your money back soon. That's what this is saying. Crypto companies are once again tightening their belts and the bear market enters the second year. The industry suffers from major meltdowns. You know what, guys? Look at this. You don't see Ripple here. You don't see Stellar here, right? You don't see any of these other cryptocurrencies that we've been talking about. Crypto.com, Coinbase, Kraken, Amber Group, Blockchain.com, Silvergate Capital. All of these guys are in trouble. All these guys are in trouble. The DOJ is preparing criminal indictments against Binance. Nexo was raided by 300 police officers. Gemini and Genesis were sued by the SEC a few minutes ago. Metropolitan Bank pulled full support for Crypto.com this week, and people are celebrating the pump for ants. Gary Gensler is once again late to the game, protecting no one. Quite clear that his political regulation through enforcement strategy hurts everyday Americans. We already understand that. Actually, I'm not even going to read this because it's pointless. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Okay, cool. So, guys, if you don't know, Token Terminal actually is a free place where you can come. You can actually go to the dashboard here and you can actually look up different cryptos like XLM. For some reason, I can't find XRP on here, but it has a lot of good information like 24, 7-day, 30-day, 180-day all-time high. It has a lot of circulating market cap, fully disputed. There's a lot of good information here. So this is another source that I use for my research. I just want to share that with you guys since you might want to use it yourself. 2023 is a pivotal year for crypto regulation, and Ripple General Counsel Stuart Algerati is breaking misconception that actors in the crypto space do not want regulation.
Asking a lawyer to answer anything in a minute is hard. It usually takes 30 seconds just to say on the one hand and 30 seconds to say on the other hand, but let's give it a shot. Hi, this is Stu Alderodi, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Crypto regulation is healthy because, well, actually, first, there's a misconception that actors in the crypto space do not want regulation. And I think responsible actors in the crypto space actually do want regulation. And the reason they want regulation, it's good for their business, it's good for their customers, it's good for the markets. And the way you get there is through clear regulation. Clear regulation consistently applied leads to predictable outcomes, and predictable outcomes are good for everybody. If you don't know what the law requires, you can't comply with the law. And the law inconsistently applied leads to unpredictable outcomes, which at the end of the day is not going to be good for anybody. So I think that's the definition of healthy regulation. And I think in the crypto space, we're working our way to get there. Some markets get it right, some markets get it wrong. And I got 1 second left, so I'm going to stop.
All right, so he's going to stop. Cool. We're almost done here, guys. Spicy NFT marketplace update. So here, look, this is Solana's down, Ethereum's down, but Arbitrum's up, Tezos is up, XRPL is up, Binance only up 1%, Cardano's up 11%, and some other places here. VeChain's up 19% here. Check this out. If the XRPL ledger can confirm a transaction in less than 5 seconds, I can do this under a minute. We already saw that. Let's keep it going. Oh, here, check this out. Did it not play? Oh, is it muted? I think it's muted. Hold on. It's muted.
Topics such as clean makers, government representatives, 1,250 private sector leaders, tech innovators, and the world's most powerful billionaires came together for a secretive meeting. And while their public records show them discussing topics such as clean energy, the metaverse, climate change, consumer lifestyle, drones, and more, there's one topic that stole the show: blockchain. My point is, while these elites disparage these investments publicly, tricking the masses, they're quietly piling into the technology at the center of it all. The World Economic Forum has just projected blockchain to be an $867 trillion disruption.
And so actually I have that article right here, guys. So this article was put out in 2021 in May, and this is talking about how it could be a $867 trillion disruption. Equity markets 95 trillion, debt markets 106 trillion, securitized products 10 trillion, derivatives 560 trillion, securities financing purchase agreements 4 trillion, right? This is all the money, boys and girls, right? We like it. We like it. Let's keep it. We're almost done, guys. I have 2 things left and I'll let you go. Top private investment platforms says Ripple inventory will sell out. Probably will. We have that. And then so right here is bringing stellar aid assist to global forum, right? We heard Danelle Dixon talk to that lady about bringing aid to Ukraine. A lot of other countries are seeing this, right? Being able to have instant payments done so they can start using the money and not having to wait for days, right? At the start of the year, I told our team that you have a picture in the world that you want in order to make it happen. Oh, wait, sorry. I told our team that if you have to picture the world that you want in order to make it happen, for us at SDF, Stellar Development Fund, the picture has been consistent since the Stellar Network has been established in 2014, a more equitable financial system enabled in part by blockchain technology, right? And so I'll read one more paragraph. First launch of Stellar Aid Assist, a new aid distribution system that is being used in pilot programs by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, right? Stellar is in the United Nations, right? And the International Rescue Committee to deliver cash assistance to internally displaced persons in Ukraine proves in no uncertain terms that blockchain technology is providing solutions for people where they are and when they need it most. Most were needed to the world most. Sorry guys, like 2 hours of reading, my fucking mind's blown up. Now we're headed to the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos to bring it into a global forum. And I just wanted to share one more thing with you guys. Okay, ExoSwap is creating a Cryptonaires swap. Basically, you're going to have a Cryptonaires page here, and it's going to have, I don't have the ExoSwap up. Hold on, let me just pull this up real quick. But you're going to be able to swap between any tokens that you want if you want to use Cryptonaires swap. ExoFi? Anyways, they'll be here on Tuesday, guys. I hope to have the swap up and I can show you what it does, but you're going to be able to swap between different currencies. If you have to send a payment, all kinds of stuff. They're going to be here on Tuesday to talk about us, and they're creating a free swap for Cryptonaires members that we can use on, and it'll have Cryptonaires logo on the top. It'll be cool, guys. So we're working on that right now behind the scenes to give you access to this free swap. It's free for Cryptonaires. There's a fee that they take when you swap, but it's supposed to be exactly what you would use for Exo. Sensei, could you share the article with the trillions and trillions? Of course I can, my friend. I will do that right now. Let me pull this back up. That was a long session, guys. I apologize. That was a really long one, but sometimes we got to get the information to you. I only passed up on a couple things, but any questions about today's chat? I know it went long today, guys. Sorry about that, but there's tons of stuff going on. There's just so much information happening, and I really want to try to bring you up-to-date information so you can really get a full picture of what's happening, digital payments all over the world, what's happening in crypto all over the world, and bring all the news to you as fast and the best as I can. Massive information. Thanks for the chat, Sensei. Tank Tiger, I love you. Thank you so much. William, great to see you. Steve, always a pleasure, my friend. LAX, you get some rest, my friend. Thank you for always being here. Sleep, always a pleasure to see you. Serenity, my friend, how are you? Mulciver, SB, Kingston, Chiron, D. Moore, Galactic Dog, what's up? And Ariana. Any other questions, my friends, that I can answer for you before I jump off the computer? I've been on it since, I don't know, 8 this morning. I need a little bit of a break. My brain is fried. Always a pleasure, guys. Here, let me stop the chat.